Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, you have big news you just announced today on Instagram.
I know. Well, hopeful news. Yeah, we just announced a European tour for 2022. It was supposed to be spring of this year, obviously, but that didn't work out. And then all the venues were like, well, let's just do 2022. And I was like, I don't know, is that responsible to announce it? Like, what if COVID's not set up? Then they were like, well, let's just announce. And then if we have to cancel, it'll be easier to reschedule the shows. So it's like, well, hopefully we'll play shows in 2022. We'd love to see you. So that's what it is.
Well, I was going to say, how hard is that to coordinate something like this in this pandemic? Because it sounds like a nightmare, but I'm not on that side of it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know either yet. I mean, our European booking agent set it up. Um, if it actually comes through and if it's safe to do that tour and at that time, like it'll be a really great tour. I mean, it'll be our longest European tour ever. We'll be going to Spain for the first time. And it's funny, I was like really like nervous about releasing those dates because I was just scared people would be like, this is irresponsible. But instead, everyone was like, come to my town. Why isn't my town on here?
Yeah,
So I was like,
exactly.
oh, okay.
That's why I'm like, where's my town on here?
Yeah.
So you
No,
guys
I
are
mean,
going to do US maybe, huh?
well, yeah, I mean, of course, as soon as it's safe to do so, we're gonna go back to just touring like crazy. We'll tour the US again, of course. And we haven't done, people keep saying, we'll do a live stream at least for the US. And my voice still isn't healed. I don't have the green light to sing yet. So everything's kind of in flux still.
Well, I was going to say by 2020, it's 2022.
Yeah.
Words tripped up. But do you think you'll have that new record done by the time you're touring in Europe?
I do think we will by then. But it's so hard to say. I mean, I thought we'd have a lot more done by now than we really did because of honestly just stuff with my voice. I mean, which if I was to pick a time, for these surgeries to have, you know, to have happened, this would be like the best time. I mean, because the most people can do right now, yeah, is like record and do live stream shows. I mean, no one can tour right now. So it's convenient in that way that these two things overlap. But at the same time, I have like all this like kind of weird guilt because it's like, oh, I wish I was doing more. I wish we could just get the record out because the songs are written, the songs are there. It's just like I'm being told, wait, wait, wait. So, which makes sense. I mean, my range isn't fully back, and I'm healing well, and I'd rather just heal all the way instead of rush it and then
Well,
have to get surgeries again.
I
Have
was
to
gonna say,
take
I
long.
think it'll be worth the wait, though. You got to make something
Yeah.
that people need it. So, and I was gonna say these songs. I hadn't listened to some of the records um, for a little bit, and then I was listening to them the other day, knowing I was gonna do this interview, and I was like, I've seen you guys live a couple of times, and some of these songs hit so hard, but after this whole incident, they're gonna have like the most emotional shows I can imagine, where everybody's just crying, and it's gonna be exciting but crazy, is what I imagine.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I feel things will be too after all of this. I just feel like everyone's so hungry and eager for art and that kind of connection again that I mean, I feel like any of the shows I go to, I'll probably be crying as well. Just be like, ah. um, but yeah, no, I think it will be pretty emotional, and honestly, there's a lot of like emotional songs that will be on the next record, um, which I have no idea. I mean, like it's so weird how long ago some of these songs have been written and how long they've been backburnered. But I think our new live show and our next record will be really, really great and
Gonna
exciting.
win
So
Grammys, right? That's what we got to say.
definitely all the Grammys. Definitely, that's a guarantee. That's the one thing I can guarantee, actually.
That's the name of your album, is All the Grammys.
All the Grammys.
Well, I was gonna say, it's got to be surreal to see this soundtrack with Viggo Mortensen and then Buckethead and then Skating Polly. Because removed just from the movie, if I saw this in a record store and I saw those three names on it, I'd be like, what is this? I'm buying this right now.
Yeah, it is surreal. No, Vigo told us back in 2014 when he was writing this screenplay that he wanted to use the song. He's like, well, would I be able to? I just think it's perfect for the movie. It's like it's an important part of it. And I was like, yes, of course, please use our song. And and then, you know, like everything, it just took a while for the actual movie to come to life. And I was always kind of wondering, like, wonder if he's still going to use our song. And then sure enough, he did. Vigo's actually worked with Buckethead several times, making these like beautiful instrumental records, and I own a lot of them, like on vinyl. So it was no surprise to me that like the amazing, beautiful soundtrack was him and Buckethead.
Well, I like this idea that Viggo Mortensen's just kind of kicking around his house, rocking out to Skating Polly, and he just goes, "That's my song." That was a pretty cool thing. And is that kind of how it happened? He was just like chilling out, listening to your records, and
Yeah, well, so basically, you know, Exene Cervenka produced our second record back in 2011, and she sent it to Viggo because they used to be married, but they're still really great friends. And he put a quote on our second record and called us little geniuses, and really cool. So he'd been a fan for a while, and then we befriended him and Exene's son, Henry Mortensen, who's one of my best friends in the world. I've lived with him several times in LA, actually. um, so yeah, so I'm really close to Henry, and anyway, and I'm really close to Exene, and I've only met Viggo a handful of times, but every time I've met him, he's just really nice and casual and fun around us. And I'm still kind of like starstruck, like, wow, that's Viggo. Like, I don't want to be annoying to Viggo, but he's been really cool. He invited us to his cabin once. He's taken us out. We went and had Henry's birthday breakfast at Cafe 50s in LA. That was really fun. I don't know. We stayed in the same Airbnb at Sundance.
well, I was going to say, it was almost a year ago that you guys did the Sundance show. I'm wondering, was that the last live show you guys did?
That was the last. I believe that was the last live show we did. Yeah.
Yeah. What does that like to play at Sundance? Because that's kind of a different venue for you guys. I did watch the video, and it's I think you guys did 2 songs, and it's kind of it had to be kind of a different vibe to what you're used to, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. It was really exciting. You know, we were actually like invited to play a full set at this like more venue like setting at Sundance, but because of the timing of everything with my voice again, I was basically like I found out all this stuff about my voice right before Sundance, and my doctor was like, well, you know, you've been singing on it for all this time. I think it's safe for you to do, you know, the 2 songs at Sundance, but then you need to like chill. We need to do some serious voice rest, and then you need to get ready for surgery. And surgery got delayed, blah, blah, blah. It's a long story. But yeah, so it was just the 2 songs at Sundance, and it was really nerve wracking. I mean, because it is just a different vibe. I didn't know what would be appropriate to wear. And then I was like, well, I don't really care what's appropriate to wear. I'm probably just going to wear tutus, which I did end up doing. We got to like, there were a lot of people I kind of wanted to meet and stuff. Because we saw like the girl who plays the sister on Fleabag was there, and I don't know, Patricia Clarkson like was there. We saw all these people, and then I don't know, it was a really cool vibe. We got to hang out with Lance because Lance was also staying at the same Airbnb. And whenever we got through it, it felt like I could breathe again. Like I was like, wow, that was actually really cool. Okay, that was safe. But yeah.
Now, is it a new version of the song on the soundtrack?
No, it's the original version. Viggo and a friend of his also composed an instrumental variation of it that's on the soundtracks that kind of leads up into our version.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because it's like the instrumental comes in before, and then there's a couple more tracks, and then your guys' version comes. I didn't realize that was Viggo's version.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they recorded it together. I don't know all the logistics of it, or if he just kind of gave the musician who performed it some guidance. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah.
So now you had Viggo Mortensen and Buckethead cover a Skating Polly song.
I don't think it wasn't Buckethead though. It wasn't Buckethead who played the variation. It was someone else whose name
I saw his name on the record today, but I cannot remember.
I don't know how to pronounce it, so I don't want to fudge it up and sound stupid. For the longest time I would, even though I knew Exene and Henry so well, I would call Viggo Viggo. And so I don't want to make that mistake again. Okay. I don't want to be mispronouncing people's names.
I was talking to Viggo Mortensen because we did an interview with him for the movie too.
Yeah.
I kept calling the movie Fallen, but that's the way I say falling. And
Uh-huh.
I realized afterwards, I was like, because you see every time I say the word fallen, he's like, that's not the name of the movie, but I'm not gonna correct you. I was like, I
Skating
was saying
posse.
it right, but I was saying it with like, I guess my weird accent or something.
That's funny. That's really funny.
So now, if is there a song that you really miss doing live that is going to be like the first song that you come out of the gate with, or do you kind of miss all of them, or is it the thing where you did all of them so many times that you're like, nah, I don't miss them too much?
Oh, I miss them all. I really miss them all. I miss screaming my head off. I haven't screamed in so long. I'll have a lot of nightmares where like I need to scream, like I'm in danger and I can't scream at all. Which I bet like now if I needed to scream I could, but I shouldn't scream, right? So I really miss the loud songs. But yeah, I also really miss the pretty ones, and I miss I think I miss it all. In particular, maybe Little Girl Blue. That song, that's just like one of my favorites to play live. I don't know. It's emotional, and I like the way that it starts off really slow, and at first maybe like if it's an audience that's not familiar with us, they're kind of like talking and stuff, and then once it kicks in, everyone's like, "Oh shit." And that's a good feeling.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, you know what? My mind went blank. Oh no, I know what I was gonna say. I was gonna ask you about the fact that we have a girl in the movie wearing an X shirt, and
I know.
I know you've done acting, and you were on a CW pilot. Was it for the CW?
No, it was Hulu and Paramount Pictures.
So
Um and it was going to be on Hulu TV. Like just, and it was called When the Streetlights Go On, and it was really cool. It was it was awesome and stuff, but then
well, I was going to ask
funny.
you if it soured you from acting, and if you're going to pursue that, because when I saw the girl in the X shirt, I was like, why isn't that Kelli Mayo playing that role?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I
Not to say
think
anything about the actress is great in the movie.
no, she is great. She is great. No, I actually still do actually audition for roles. That was another thing that I kind of had to take a break from with the voice rest stuff, but I actually have been auditioning again. And it's just, you know, it's I mean I'd love to act in something, but it's kind of one of those things that I'm not really just trying out for it's very selective the parts that I go out for, and I haven't hooked one yet, so fingers crossed. I have a really cool acting manager who also reps Kate Nash, who I have a poster of right
She's out
here.
there in the
There she
window.
is. And she also reps, I just found out she reps Phoebe Bridgers' acting career, like she just started so that's really cool. And I love them, Margaret Polak and Mickey Caruso. But it's just one of those things, yeah. Like, I mean, I haven't got any big hits yet or anything, but I'd love to. The pilot was probably one of the things I'm most proud of in my life. That was a really great experience. I love all of those actors. I love the writers. I love the director. The writers actually went on to get their show finally released, which I'm so proud of them for, because it started as a feature, and then Hulu or Paramount was like, make it into a TV show, and then they did, and then it didn't get picked up, and then they rewrote it for Quibi, and it finally got released on Quibi with a different cast. So that's really cool.
Well,
I'm really
Quibi
happy.
completely disappeared. Dead. Quibi does not exist anymore. So I don't know if you know that, but what happens to the pilot? I mean, is there a place that fans can see it? Is it disappeared? Is it buried?
It's I believe because it's someone else's property, like property of Paramount and Hulu, that it's yeah, no one's ever gonna see it. It also premiered at Sundance 2017, 2018, I can't remember, but it was like we brought our pilot to Sundance, and it played like on a big screen, and it's in a sold out theater, and that was really cool experience again. But yeah, it just didn't end up getting picked up. Basically, it was a TV show also set in 1983, the same year that Stranger Things was set. And it was we also filmed it in the exact same town that Stranger Things did. And it was so funny because when we were there, I remember the PAs, like the assistants and stuff, and be like, yeah, we just filmed some other show also set in 1983, and Winona Ryder was in it. I think it's about aliens or something. I was like, oh, cool. And I don't think Hulu wanted to put out a show with like a younger cast set in the same year that was also really I mean, it was very different, but there were just enough elements where I think they were like, well, we don't want to just seem like we're trying to rip off Netflix. So,
I want to go back to the soundtrack for a second. When you have a song like this, I don't know the origin or the history behind the song or what it plays into your real life. But when you put it on the end of this movie, I mean, when I hear it now, I think of the movie, and it kind of seems like you kind of give it away to those images and those ideas. Is that hard for you? And if somebody else comes to you for another soundtrack, do you think, well, I've got to really check into what this movie is and what it is about before I say, hey, I want my music on it? Or would you just go, yeah, use our music?
I think it would depend on who it was, and I mean, it would depend on the project. I mean, we'd love to just, but that being said, we'd love to have our music used in more stuff, and I'd love to even try like a stab at writing music for a movie instead of just like we have these songs that someone's like, hey, this is the perfect song for this. Um, it's kind of uncanny, like how well I think the lyrics fit with the tone of Falling. I think it really, really fits with the movie. Um, and I don't know. It kind of freaked me out actually, because I have this thing, which not to sound cheesy or ridiculous, which actually fine if I do, but sometimes like I know what a song I'm writing is about. Like, oh, it's about like with A Little Late, it was about this grandma I was really, really close to who passed away. And then also at the same time, I was really young. I was like 13, 14 when I was writing it. I had this boyfriend who tried to kill himself, who's a couple years older than me. And it was kind of just about that, both of those things, and how that was taking me for a spin. But then I, after this movie came out, I had another experience with a really close friend, that really reminded me of the situation in the movie. And it just felt like my song like told the future a little bit. Like I didn't realize, but actually I was writing that song about this thing that would happen many, many years later. And then for Vika to just kind of drop it in on this in his movie where I had a very similar experience in my real life, I was like, oh shit. So yeah.
Now, is the original video for that the one in, I think you're in a gas station?
Uh
That's a different video.
well, that's part of it is we're walking around like this abandoned town. I believe it was Tucumcari,
Yeah.
New Mexico, which just has a lot of abandoned motels and gas stations and stuff. And basically what we did was we would stop and film at these kind of scenic, desolate places from the route. We were living in Oklahoma at the time, so from Oklahoma to Los Angeles. And Kate, again, shout out to Kate, had told me that she wanted to be in the music video because she just loved it and the song moved her. And I was like, okay. So when we got to LA, we were like, okay, you want to be in the music video? And so it kind of changed vibes from like this, like, oh, everything's broken and like falling apart, to at the very end, it's like coming together and all about love and friendship and stuff. And even though she's not on the song, I love that she wanted to be in the music video because I don't know. Yeah.
I don't remember her in the music video. Where is she at in that music video?
She's at the very end. She's just like singing and dancing with us. She has sunglasses on. I think she has orange hair at the time.
Okay, I guess I gotta watch it over again. Now, talking about the acting career and your music, I was watching High School, or not High School Musical. I was watching Rock and Roll High School, and I was like, that if you're gonna do a concert film, that's the way to do a concert film, because I don't think anybody's done that. Usually they put out, here's us on stage. And I was like,
Yeah.
would you guys ever consider doing something like that where it's acting and then it's also these big musical pieces?
I mean, totally. I mean, I'd love to. I'm such a ham and I love doing music videos. So I think that'd be really, really fun. Me and Peyton actually used to be really obsessed with Rock and Roll High School. I haven't seen it in so long now, but I used to do a really bad impression of Joey Ramone in that movie. And yeah, it's the shit.
Well, it struck me because you're one of the bands that seem like they have that fun side with a serious side that would play into something like that. And I just haven't seen any rock bands kind of be able to fit into that mold and pull something like that off.
Yeah.
I thought, man,
I mean, like for us, the reason we haven't done that probably is, I mean, which you could always do it on a lower schedule, like on a lower budget, but I mean, we don't really have the I don't think, it's not like we're not the Ramones quite yet. So we don't have like that kind of budget behind us just built in. But you could do it. You could do it smaller, on a smaller scale. And something like that could be really cool. We've talked about all these ideas with music videos before, like basically making, like taking an album and doing like a like Lemonade or something, where you have this whole story that kind of plays out of music videos through the entire record. And we keep even talking about for the Make It All show, even though it came out back in 2018 now, if I remember correctly, like there's still a part of us that's like, what if we just still tried to like knock out a music video for every single song on that record? Because we did that for the Big Fit. Every song on that record has a music video.
Well,
So there's, yeah.
well, Nikki, you bring up an interesting point. Listening to your records, I think I've listened to them all, and there's no down songs on these records. It's like all, what do they say? All killer, no filler. And
Oh, that's so nice.
because back in the day, like I was just watching a thing about Ugly Kid Joe, not comparing you to Ugly Kid Joe, but they had like one good song, right? And so then the studio goes, let's put out a record, give us 8 more songs right now, and they're all shit. But you guys have this ability, I guess, all musicians right now, to work it out. And I was wondering kind of if that's what you guys do, is you wait until every song on this record is perfect before you put a record out. That makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, in the past, we tried to put out records pretty quickly. I mean, not saying we wouldn't take the time with them. Like, yeah, we really did want to get it right, but we also kind of had this mindset of like, you're gonna have a long career, so there's no pressure to like anything that you don't do on this record, you can do on the next one, type of thing. But that being said, every song, I mean, I remember writing these records, literally every single song, we're thinking like, oh, and in the music video for this one, like not really sure what's going to be the single or what's going to be like the success off that record. And that's also another weird thing about us, is it's always hard for me to tell what songs of ours people really know, or what people's favorite songs of ours is going to be. I mean, there are some that are just definitely, I mean, there are some that are more well known, like kind of across the board. Like I think Protect a Boy is one of the more popular ones and stuff, but everyone kind of has their own favorites.
I was going to say,
different.
I have a favorite song off the last album you guys did that I don't think I've seen you guys do live. And
which one is it?
The Vacation song.
This Vacation. See, that was one that that's funny because I really liked that song, and I kind of pictured that being like maybe one of the singles for the record. And basically some friends of ours at the time, and a few people who were kind of in like, our team, no one really dug it except me and Brad Wood and Peyton and Curtis. Like everyone was kind of like, I don't know.
I think it's the best song on the record. It really inspired me to write something that I'd been writing. It like added like an inspiration for me. So I don't know. I mean,
like, I probably should have just gone with my instincts on like what my favorites were and stuff. But I do get kind of in my head and like, that one was fun to write. I told Brad that I wanted it to be like Queens of the Stone Age vibes, which I don't know if that translates at all, but he kind of like did it with this like chunka chunka chunka, and I don't know, there are elements that I think he kind of captured that pretty well actually. But
the storytelling in the music is insane to me, and like the video you put out, I can't remember the name of the song, sorry, but you're like wearing all pink, and what's the name of that song? I can't think of it.
All pink. Oh, They're Cheap but I'm Free.
Yes, that is like, that song to me is like a little like Tarantino movie, and it's so perfect and so crazy, and I love the video. And I'm like, you guys, that's what I love about you guys with your music, is you do storytelling, and a lot of people have stopped doing that, where you play through characters.
Yeah, thank you. A lot of times that's just it's easier for me to write through a character instead of writing from my own direct experience. It's easier for me to like, drama. I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but make the situation more dramatic, or, kind of write it from like the perspective of, like a movie character. And so I'll do that. And that music video was really, really fun because we were working with one of our best friends, Scott Stuckey, and we didn't really have any money to make the music video. But he had access to this studio. So as long as we were willing to put in the work, we could make a music video at that studio. So I was like, okay, I want to just do something where everything's made out of trash. So all the art I was like calling friends in LA and like, can we just go through your junk drawers? I just want to see what's in your junk drawer. And I want to like, and people are like, I don't have a junk drawer. That's such an old thing to have. And I was like, okay, fine. So we went to like 99-cent stores and we just found stuff off the side of the road and we painted it pink. And that was great. this really cool thrift store, Sunday's Best in Echo Park, lent us clothes, and I was just like, okay, pink, 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 gold, gold, gold. And then Scott was like, well, what's the theme of the music video though? I was like, trust me, just like I'll just position us, and you like have the camera in a good place, and we won't need much of a theme other than just this really intense performance. Trust me.
That's the thing, is that song is kind of a message song, but also you're not hammering somebody in the face with the message. You're letting the lyrics and the story speak for itself, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so in the kind of fictional story, I I like to have like kind of three stories in my songs. I like to have a layer that's like the fictional storybook version of the story that the lyrics directly translate to, and then I like to have my personal story that I don't tell many people about, or maybe I kind of hint at like, oh, it's about feeling this way. And then I like to have the music video story, and for that one the fictional story is kind of about like some powerful asshole who's cheating on his wife with prostitutes. Just like, and she's like confronting him about it, and that's kind of like what the lyrics are just very literally written about, but then in a more personal way it was just feeling, rejected, like cheated on, stuff like that,
Yeah, well, I doing research on your band. One of the funny things that came up, and I did more research, so I don't know this, but there's like an interview magazine interview. Have you ever read
Mhm.
that piece?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think
'Cause
we're in it. Is it the one about little girl blue in the battle Lindy?
no, it talks about, it makes it sound like Peyton Big Horse was in a cult and then she got out of a cult. And then I was like, well, that doesn't sound right. But I don't know. It's just interesting story. And it's like, did they just take that out of context, or because I know she
Dude,
had like an old
I've
boyfriend
never
that
heard
dropped
this.
out
You
or
have to
something?
send me this one.
Okay, I'll try to find it, because that was like the first thing after I'd seen one of your videos. I was like, who's this band? And I looked it up in an interview magazine. You know that magazine?
I know the magazine, and
Yeah.
that's so weird because one of the last things Interview did before, because their magazine went under for a second, and I guess then they came back up. But one of the last articles they published was they released our music video, "Little Girl Blue in the Battle Envy."
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't connected to that at all because I didn't see
It's
that.
so weird. Yeah, I don't know anything about this Peyton cult. I guess I'll
Well,
have to
that's
have
what
talk
I
to
thought was
Peyton.
funny, because then I saw, I'd read further into it doing more research for this interview. And I was like, oh, it wasn't a cult. It was just some old boyfriend. But they made it sound like she had gotten into a cult and it ruined the family. And I was like, this is a really interesting band. What's going on here? So
So weird.
I thought it was funny.
No,
But just
that's funny.
embellishments. Well, no, it wasn't. I was gonna say it was Vice magazine that did that crazy story on Corey Feldman. So they kind of, just write crazy stuff sometimes to, I don't know, make it sound more exciting.
That's
So
true.
your bandmate Peyton Big Horse is her name, right?
Yes,
She's
yes.
not in a cult.
No.
No, and she
No,
didn't
Peyton
have.
mostly reads and chills with her dog. Um, I mean, not to say she's not very, because she is incredibly interesting and artistic, but she doesn't have the kind of, scandalous lifestyle that one might have if they were in a cult.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, I went and read more stuff so I knew what was going on. It just sounded like
I
embellishment.
have to read this. This is insane. Yeah,
The
no, she
first
did
thing
have
I
a
ever
boyfriend.
read, I thought it was kind of, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
what's this band about?
I mean, I think there's always that kind of weird misinformation. Like, actually, a really cool artist that we like, Shamir, did an interview with Talk House or something, talking about why Shamir loves our band, and they said that they said that we were a project that our parents set up, like because we didn't get along, so our parents forced us to be in the band, and that's how Skating Polly started. And me and Peyton were like, this isn't true. But otherwise it was a really positive, great article from Shamir, like talking about why they love us and blah blah blah. And I was like, well, I guess we can retweet it, but I mean, that isn't why we started. That isn't how we started at all. Anyway,
Well,
it's kind of funny.
I have this record here, and I just want to ask about it because I don't see anything in your I don't see any like literature about it. It's like I saw these guys with Dead Cross,
Yes,
and like
Queen.
that's why I picked this up. And I didn't know who Skating Polly was at the time, and I didn't even look at the back of this record. I just bought this, and then after I got into Skating Polly one day, I was going through my 45s, and I was like, I have a Skating Polly 45. What is this? So can you tell me exactly where this is and how it fits into your musicography and why you're with Queen?
Yeah. So Matt from Quee, basically he came to a show of ours with Lori Barbero in Los Angeles. And Lori Barbero from Babes in Toyland, who I have a poster of up there. um,
That's a great poster.
oh yeah, and I have all my, well, you can't see them, but I have all my passes from our tour together, just like framed behind me. But so anyway, before our tour together, Lori came to like surprised us, showed up to one of our shows in Los Angeles, and she lived in Minneapolis or Austin at the time. I can't remember where she lived at the time, but she brought Matt from Quee with her, and she was like, he's in a great band, he's in this band Quee and blah blah blah. And so we became friends, and I think they just straight up asked us. We checked the 7-inch that is it on Burger?
No, it's not.
See, I can't remember because there's all this, I don't know. I'm so bad with like history, even of my own band. But
Burger went under, I think.
anyway, Quee asked us if we wanted to do a 7-inch with them. They said, I don't know. I can't remember. The thing maybe the other 7-inch they put out might have been on Burger, and maybe that's why I'm getting it confused. But they'd done a 7-inch split with Mike Watt before. And they asked us if we wanted to do one. We're like, heck yeah. And we had this song, Chipper on Ease a Star, that we were gonna put on Fuzztelecom, I believe. And for some reason, we didn't end up releasing it on Fuzztelecom, but we still really dug that song. Or maybe it was supposed to go on the Big Fit, somewhere in that span of time. And so we released it with them, and which is kind of a shame in one way, just because it's a really cool song that, we don't have. I don't think it's on any of the streaming services. It's kind of like this hidden song, but it also kind of makes the song more special. Yeah, and I'm really glad we did that cool little gem of like this random 7-inch.
So that's the thing. I couldn't find any history of it, where it came from, why it was there. And I don't know if you're familiar with Dead Cross, but they opened for them, and I saw them, and I was like, oh, these guys are cool. Let's see. And then they had David Yao. Am I saying that name right? From Jesus Lizard.
The Jesus Lizard.
And then David Yao, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like, this is like the 6 degrees of skating poly that I'm discovering here.
That's so funny. So David Yao, I also have a photo of him up on my wall, but I met him through Scott Stuckey, who directed a couple of our music videos. And then David Yao ended up being in our music video for Playhouse, the last music video we did. He plays this like butler in it. And I've always been such a huge Jesus Lizard Scratch Acid fan. Like one of the first records that I was obsessed with was The Greatest Gift by Scratch Acid. And I had it on like an iPod shuffle. And I'd listen to it on the bus, and I'd scare elementary school students with it that I was in the same grade as. I love David Yao.
You scare grade schoolers with it.
Yeah.
Now, do you listen to Tomahawk?
I don't know that.
Oh, that's kind of a side project. It was Dwayne Dennison from Jesus Lizard.
Ah, okay.
They've got a new album out. That's the only reason I brought it up.
No, I don't. I haven't listened to them yet.
So that's pretty rad. Now, I know you probably want to get going, but
oh no, I'm good. I mean,
I'm the guy that bought the artwork from you. I
know that.
Yeah. Now I was gonna say, I don't want to dox you out, and I'm not gonna say where you're at, but that address on that envelope.
Yes.
Is that where you're at?
I'm just kind of staying here right now, with a friend.
Well, I just want to know.
But I'm still officially living in Los Angeles.
Well, it just freaked me out because my mom is literally like 5 minutes away from where you're at, and I was so like, how the hell does somebody wind up there? Because that's like a place, I'm like, I got to get out of here as soon as possible,
Well, I needed to like heal, and it's closer to my siblings and stuff than in LA. And I just wanted like this place where I could just be quiet and kind of out of the spotlight and just kind of like have a lot of my own space. So my friend paid for the lease of this apartment in this little rural town for up to a year. And she was like, so you don't have to pay rent if you just want to help like split the bills with me. And I was like, okay, I can do that. So I kind of just come here. I don't know. I feel like I live in like 6 different states right now, to be honest. Probably not the most COVID friendly, but
good thing to get out of Los Angeles right now. I can't even get my dog to the vet. So
yeah, no, I'm still kind of in Los Angeles, kind of here, just kind of bumming around like a little hobo.
Yeah, well, I was watching something about the history of the last Nirvana photo shoot. and they were talking about Aberdeen, and then I was like, oh, maybe she's trying to create her own Aberdeen there. So
No, I'm just like chilling, just going on walks with my dog, playing a lot of piano and guitar, painting.
well, there was like the eclipse came, and that was like a hot spot to go. And my mom was just like, these people need to leave town because there's too many of them. And so I was like, oh, there's going to be an influx if word gets out. So,
That's
I mean, I'm
funny.
not going to tell you, because I just thought it was so weird because I don't hear anybody ever move there.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's just this random little place.
It's like the end of the universe. Did you say it's trendy?
What? No, I said it's just this random little place. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah, that's why it
yeah,
was so weird to me, is because it's totally random.
yeah.
I spent so much time there. Now, I was gonna say, I heard, talking back to your acting career, I've heard people put you out there for, is it Carrie Green's daughter when they make the Goonies too? Is that something you're actually gonna, if they ever do it, because they're supposed to make it for the last 20 years?
Wow, I didn't know they were trying to make it. People do tell me that she must be the one people tell me I look like. Who she actually looks a lot. Let me look her up right now to make sure that I'm not just being dumb.
No, I'm pretty sure that's her.
Yeah, I don't really know what people actually are considering me for. Like I've got to go out for a bunch of really cool roles. But then every now and then there's like my manager has what is it called? Like Google notifications. What is that called? You know what I mean? Where you get like the notifications every time a name is mentioned.
Mm-hmm. I
I
think
can't
it's called
remember.
notifications.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, we got one for like Catwoman one time. And it really cracked me up because it was like the article was like suggesting like, well, they want to cast Emma Stone or whoever, like these huge names. Is like, I think they should cast Kelly Mayo. I was like,
Was
what?
that for the new Batman movie, or is that for the Batman TV show?
That was it was just some random article that I don't know how. I don't know. I thought it was very,
Oh, you
very.
know what? Wait. I think I might have wrote that. Now
Did
I
you
know.
see
It
that?
was just a article on the internet that said maybe put. Yeah, that was me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, see, you know
I
what?
was
I just
putting that
never
out in the
know.
universe because I thought it was funny. I didn't know what you're talking about. I thought like a real. I totally forgot about that. I was just goofing around.
That's funny. Yeah, no, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't even think you would see
One
that.
of the cool things I got to try out for actually was Captain Fantastic was Vigo's movie. And I got like a callback and stuff, but it was one of the first auditions I ever went out for. And basically they wanted to go with a more experienced actress, and the actress that they did cast was really great. So I can't fault them. But I remember thinking like, oh, how cool would it be for my first project ever to be this movie with Vigo?
Well, that's why I was asking about the falling. Was there any word that maybe you would try out for that or go in for that, or is that something you just wouldn't even be interested in because there's too many?
No, I would go out. Of course I would try out for it, but they just didn't really come up. Sometimes just things. I know that they had to use some like Toronto cast, or maybe he just already had that actress in mind. I'm not really sure. It's kind of was also like a position where it's like they already made our song kind of like the theme of the movie. I wasn't gonna like press my luck, like, why didn't you cast me, you motherfucker? So but yeah, I would pretty much anything Vigo is part of, I think I can safely say I'd be stoked to be a part of as well. Of
Well,
course.
you play Exene in a recent music video for the latest X album, and they're making all these biopics now. And I've heard word flutter through that X might get a biopic in some time in the future. Is
Oh
that
my
something?
gosh, if they do, I would totally want to be in it. Oh my gosh.
Well, I was gonna say I would think that would be like you would be the person to do that.
I would hope so. That would be really cool. After we made that music video, funny because I have all the photos from that music video, and like this is kind of my like extra. I have a lot of tickets from X shows and stuff. But I have way more X memorabilia than that. Anyway, after we made that music video, we all had like the best time, and we were just like, so maybe we should just do like a low budget biopic so that this never has to end. Like it's what me and Gilbert kept saying, like maybe we should just do a biopic. I just think we should. And we were just kind of joking about it, but man, if they ever had a biopic and I was, if people wanted me to play Xena, I'd be so down. Be very down.
Um, I know you probably have a lot of things to do on Friday night in in your town. So,
I
but
will work in
want to
town.
ask you about Henry Mortensen's movie. When I talked to Viggo Mortensen the other day, he said that it's finished, and they're looking for ways to get it out. And I'm just wondering what your take on it is, and where do you think it is, and when will we be able to see it?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea really. For a while there, it was just like I was always, oh, Patsy, sorry, my dog's barking. Um, I don't know what the latest is on it. I mean, I know Henry has like a final edit and that he submitted to some film festivals and stuff. Um, sorry, my dog's going crazy. But uh, yeah, I mean, I'm ready for them to put it out whenever. It's cool. It covers this. I can't remember how many years now he even followed us around for, but it was a good chunk of time, and he was there for some big stuff like us recording the Big Fit and us on the Babes in Toyland tour and us at Riot Fest. Both times we went to Riot Fest, I believe. Or well, we've been 3 times now, but the first 2 times. Um, yeah. No, I don't know. You'd have to ask Henry what the plan is with that. I think technically it's also coming out on Percival Pictures, which is what Falling just came out through. But I know that they kind of wanted to do some film festival stuff before they released it, maybe. And who knows with the pandemic? I never know what's going on.
Have you sat down and watched it from beginning to end, or is that something that's hard to watch for 2 hours?
I have watched it. Several. I watched a cut of it that was like 4 hours long, and that was kind of hard to watch because it was 4 hours long. But yeah, no, I've watched it. It's I really like it. I think he's got some really great, like, just happy, beautiful moments in there. Kate Nash is in it. Lori Barbero's in it. Cappy Ellen's in it. Like, I don't know, a lot of my heroes are in it. A lot of my friends are in it. Just all these kind of little memories. Um, I don't know. It's really special. It's got a lot of special things in there.
Well, I talked to Henry Mortensen maybe like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, just real quick about it. And he said the one thing that stuck out in my mind was it will change your perception and idea of who these two people are. And I don't know. He didn't say any further than that. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't.
Definitely a bad thing. We were pretty terrible once you get to know us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a dramatic, just no, I think he meant that in a good way.
That's what
Um
I would think, but who knows?
I think it's pretty cute, and it's like a sweet, happy movie. And it's funny because at the time I felt like, I don't know, I'm pretty young in it still. I didn't feel young, but I am pretty young throughout it, and I'm being a huge goober a lot of the time, like a big ham. And I don't know. Yeah, it's just a lot of funny, candid moments between me and Peyton. And then Curtis at the very, very end, it's like, oh, surprise, we have another member. So, yeah.
So it ends. The movie ends there with him coming in.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a capsule of the first half of Skating Polly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, actually, it's funny because I remember calling Henry and telling him, like, right after we decided to add Curtis to the band, and me and Peyton were like, I don't know if he liked this story. He might get annoyed by this story. He's one of my best friends, though. But me and Peyton called him. We had him on speaker, and Kurt was in the car. And I was like, I have some really big news I want to share with you. He's like, what? And I was like, Curtis is going to join the band. He was like, well, I mean, I just made a movie about how you guys are this awesome two-piece. And I was like, it really cracked me up because, and then he was like, he totally came around, like, and on board, and was super, super stoked to have, Kurt in the band, and made this super happy ending. But it was really funny at first. He was like, oh, wow, I have to like kind of rethink the movie a little bit now.
Well, God, I don't want to speak out of school. When I saw you guys, I think at the Fonda Theater I think it was playing with Starcrawler and somebody else maybe opened for that band.
Uh-huh.
And Exene was there.
Uh-huh.
And I was over there talking to her, and yeah, she was really pushing home the fact that it was two girls that started the band.
Uh-huh.
And she was really like, it's those two girls. Don't ever forget that. It was like, because I said something about watching Curtis play, because Curtis has like the funniest, like, like watching him play cracks me up sometimes. And I said that to her, and then she was like, no, it's two girls. It was two girls. And I was like, wow. Is she not
No,
like,
I
"Hey,
don't think
what's
she
going
meant
on?"
it like that. She loves
No, I
Curtis.
know.
I think she
I get-
was
It's
probably
funny.
just trying to say like how cool it is that we were so young and it was just like, you know, two girls that started it. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like we've been able to do way more since Kurt's joined the band, and Kurt like pushes my creativity to another level. I mean, Kurt will have really like kind of deep, profound conversations about like every little detail, and he's really good with lyrics. I mean, he's an invaluable part of the team, and he's definitely, you know, the third piece of Skating Polly. I mean, even though it started as me and Peyton, like Curtis is just as much of Skating Polly. So
Well, I wanted to ask you about the lyrics and the singing. Are you guys always singing your own lyrics, or will you write a song for Peyton Big Horse and then pass it to her, or vice versa?
yeah, I mean, for the most part, whoever's singing, it's their like song idea. But there's exceptions to that a little bit. I mean, like, you know, we really there's a couple songs on this last record that like just the lyrics really changed, like, you know, just from someone's first idea. Once we all kind of sat down and worked it out, like really, really changed. Or different parts that we brought into it. So yeah.
Okay, well, I feel like I have to apologize for asking you so many questions.
No, it's all good.
I mean, it takes so long. Usually the rep that comes on and tells me to get off the phone. So and I was
No.
waiting, it did never come, but it's exciting. This is the most exciting thing that's happened in the last 11 months.
Aw. No, thank you. It's always like it's really nice to talk about the band still and stuff like that, because it's just been it's felt like this part of my heart is just missing since I can't sing. I mean, I'm still playing music and we still do band things occasionally, you know, like let's get this together, and we have all these plans, but it just feels like plans right now. And I'm excited for I don't know. I'm excited for this 2022 tour. And this is Patsy. Hi, Patsy.
Hey, Pat.
And yeah.
My
Well.
dog is on the floor. He's not allowed to come
Oh.
here. He bites people. Anyways, well, I always go to stop this thing, and then people are staring at me because it doesn't stop right away.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, would you please shut the thing off?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you. But anyways, it was great getting to talk to you. This will be out either tomorrow or Sunday, depending on what my boss says. And yeah, it was lovely to talk to you. Answered all my questions, so it was great. So
All right.
have a good rest of your night.
You too.